Welcome to Future Role Model, a podcast that praises the unconventional and redefines what it means to be a role model. We're such good role models, and here I have today with me Candice Thompson, role model of the century.
That's actually my Twitter handle and my Instagram handle. Because, you know.
You're perfect.
I'm a perfect
You've
person.
Never fucked up, and we're done.
Never. Yeah, that's it, guys.
We're done. Goodbye. Candice is one of my favorite people just because we've just ended up being like accidentally typecast as kind of the same thing for a long time, but not. You're the better version of it.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You're the better.
How dare you?
You're the better version. But yeah, like I don't remember where it first was, but like literally every project we would walk into the room and be like, of course Candice is here. Of course Natasha's here. Like it just happens so often.
I think anytime there's like attractive women in comedy, we're going to be called in for that role, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we're not funny, you know. Pretty women aren't funny.
Yeah, exactly. You know? People still ask me that all the time. Even yesterday, I won't say who this was, but I was hanging out with a really big comic, and he's like, why don't you model? And I was like, I'm fucking 33. I'm not trying to break into the modeling world.
You can't start modeling at 33.
I was like, yeah, I'm not. I'm fine on camera, but I'm not going to be like, hey, Ford models, what's up? Like, come get at this.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
People don't understand. But there was a comic who said that. I thought for a second I was like, he must not be in the industry.
I'll tell you who after, and it'll make sense.
Hilarious.
Because, you know, it's just
hilarious.
He's great, and he's not an ass to me or to women, but he just was like, why don't you model? And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. But one of my favorite nights of hanging with Candice was at the Improv with you and Christine. And we were when I had that troll, and we were talking about Instagram trolls. I had a troll for a while that
was so funny.
Dude, I've never laughed that hard.
That was so funny. The Willem Dafoe troll.
Yes. I had this guy.
Sheila. That's what it was. Sheila Dafoe. That's what we started calling you.
I want that nickname to stick so hard. Well, there was this troll for a while that I had that always commented on my stuff saying how much I looked like Willem Dafoe. And I thought it was so funny because I know he was trying to be mean, but it was so... It
ended up just being hilarious.
It was so opposite of what I looked like in every picture that it was just hysterical.
It was just funny.
And then finally, after like 5 months of it, I was like, all right, I have to block this guy because he's just getting obnoxious. Always saying I look like Willem Dafoe. But we went on like a fucking kicker with it that night. We did.
It was you, me, Christine Little, Stretch. And yeah, I just remember we were riffing for like at least 45 minutes on you being Willem Dafoe's secret sister, Sheila.
I thought about it for a long time because there's a whole website devoted to Sarah Jessica Parker and how she looks like a horse, which is so mean.
Whole website?
A whole website. It's Sarah, I think it's something she looks like a horse. People are so mean. I know. And it's all these pictures of her in moments where she looks like you could catch anybody in a moment. On a TV show, you could freeze anybody.
At the worst moment.
At the worst moment.
I've had people take screenshots of me from my Instagram stories when I'm like in the middle of like a head turn or something, and they're like, nice angle. And I'm like, you didn't have to take a screenshot of this. Like, we all look ridiculous and ugly numerous times during the day. Why you didn't have to go out of your way to take a screenshot of this ugly moment and then send it to me?
Yeah, who does that? Like,
crazy
at least just
people.
Save it for yourself and admire the fact that I don't look perfect all the time on your own time.
Right, exactly.
But don't need to bring me into this shit. So I thought about starting my own website called Natasha Hansen looks like Willem Dafoe and trying to take pictures.
You should.
Because, you know, if somebody's going to troll you, you got to beat them to the punch.
Yeah, you got to.
It's not fun anymore if you put yourself on blast, but
get ahead of it. That's
still one of my favorite fucking hangouts of all time. That was such a good night.
Like 4 years ago?
It was. Yeah, it was quite a few years ago. Yeah, we've known each other for a hot minute.
We have.
But we just never have time for each other, which is sad.
And that's why I'm like, I can't take care of a puppy because I just don't.
I know. Yeah. What have you been up to lately besides just being awesome?
Oh, well, that takes up majority of my time is being awesome. I'm awesome at least 6 days out of the week. So
Sundays
on that one
are your cheat day.
That's why my day off where I get to be an absolute loser and an asshole.
That's the day that she requests you don't screenshot her stories.
Dear, for the love of God, stop it with that. Stop it with that. Yeah, no, just busy, super busy, like with shows in general, like going on the road a little bit, not a lot. I'm not like a huge road comic.
Yeah.
And I think it's also because it's not what I'm manifesting for myself. Like, I don't necessarily want that. Like, I just want to, like, I want to work like in LA. Like
Me and Jen were just talking about that. We like working because I love being in New York.
Yes.
Like I love being in big cities that I love where I have a lot of friends.
Right.
And people that want to come to shows.
Right. But I don't want to be necessarily in like in the middle of like in Utah, in the middle of nowhere on like where I have to rely on the road to survive. So like I prefer to like get gigs in town and work on projects like writing gigs and stuff like that, acting jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then doing the road when I want to. Like that's the life, the dream that I want. So that's what I'm trying to like work on right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Amen, sister.
Thank you. Yeah, no, podcasting and independent. I have a pilot that I'm writing for myself that we're pitching right now, a web series.
Amazing.
Pitching. Yeah,
I want to hear more about that later.
Of course.
Me and Candice, luckily, are going to both be hanging out at JFL. You're on this show.
Yeah. I'm taping for Kevin Hart's network, the LOL taping.
Yep.
And then I'm doing another show. I'm opening for Roy Wood Jr. on one of his shows, I think on the 27th.
Oh, yeah. I saw that one. Okay, I'll come hang out at that one.
Yes,
I'm going to be at JFL this year, too, but just drinking.
Don't get it twisted. That's what everyone else will also be doing, even people who are performing.
Exactly.
And the industry that are supposed to be looking for talent. They're also going to be drunk
wasted.
and messed up. Right.
So this episode will come out like the day after we get back from JFL.
Yeah.
So we'll have plenty of stories for you. I'll just have to come on.
Survive.
I'll have to come on your podcast, then we can tell the JFL
you're absolutely
stories.
Come on absolutely, you'll come on my podcast.
Candice has a podcast with this network, actually. It's called The Struggle, and it's amazing.
Thanks.
You know, I get to talk about how we failed at being role models in our past and what we did to get to where we aren't. And then Candice gets to talk about how we're failing at doing what we are doing.
The current struggles of being a shitty person.
So it all just ties hand in hand.
Yes.
What would you say? How long have you been doing comedy now?
Jesus. It's probably going on 11 years now.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had taken a break at one point because I'd started like around 2007 and then I actually took a break for almost a year and a half.
Yeah. Jen and I were just talking about that because she took a year hiatus.
I think a lot of comics do.
A lot of comics do. You just need to regroup.
It's part of the process. And then you come back to it. Like those people, there's people who quit and then they never come back. And then there's people who quit and then they're like, wait a second, what am I doing? I love comedy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I had an epiphany. Ian Edwards is one that helped me realize that I was fucking up. He just was a guest on my podcast. His episode's going to come out. By the time you hear this, it will have already aired. But he's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
Because of his honesty. He's one of the most honest people. And in this industry, you don't meet that very often. So like coming across him was one of the best finds of my life. He's a great person.
He's humble too. Like
he's very humble.
I hit him up last time I was in New York. He was there too. And we had made plans to meet at the Olive Tree or whatever next to Comedy Cellar.
Yep.
And just so happened that Crashing was shooting there that day, so we couldn't go in. So we went to this like little hole in the wall, like European pub that's underground across the street. Have you ever been to that place? The Rabbit or whatever, Rabbit Rose or whatever it's called. But he was hanging out with me and my girlfriend, and you know, he's just so chill and humble. Like he came to meet us, and then like 15 minutes in the conversation, he was like, "Yeah, you know, I couldn't get into the Comedy Cellar. I was gonna come in and say hi, but they were blockading it for the show, and I wrote that episode, and we were like, wait, you wrote that episode?
And you couldn't get in.
And he was like, yeah, I just didn't even try to get in, you know? And I was like, you created that episode. You could have been, he could have been a dick.
Yeah, no, and he didn't care.
Plenty of people would be, but he just isn't like that.
Ian's not like that at all. And like we talk about this all the time, but it's like when you are a genuinely nice person and who does have humility like that, it's going to take us longer to get where we want to be career-wise because we have consciences and we just don't necessarily need to, we don't have that inside of us that's like pushing us to like get to this extreme level of fame because it's like we're happy as we are. And
yeah, we like ourselves.
We like ourselves. So we don't need like necessarily validation from all of these complete strangers to feel good about ourselves. Like we honestly are just people who love comedy and respect the craft and want to do what we love.
Yeah.
So it takes people like us a little bit longer to get where we want to be.
Yeah. And I was just talking about that the other day, but like there are plenty of people I know that are really great at ladder climbing and stuff. And it happens, you know. I would never.
Their comedy not necessarily isn't that great most of the time.
Yeah. And, and here's the thing. Other people see that and maybe some people don't care, but the people that do, you just find your people along the way.
Absolutely.
And you find people that believe in your career and eventually timing happens and your things, you hit such a good moment. Like it was like a year and a half ago when you started just really hitting your climb. I feel like I feel like you're just in it right now.
I feel like I am in a good spot as well. Yeah, thank you.
But like it was cool to see that because I've always just loved you as a person.
Aww.
So when you see somebody hit their moment, they get their late night TV spot and then they start like everything starts hitting. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome.
That's so good to hear. You guys don't understand for the listeners, like the hate that is in this industry. Like
it shouldn't be like
when
that.
You see somebody get something, there's a part of you that's like, why didn't I get that?
No.
For everything. So like to hear support, especially from another woman.
Well,
because it's like they pit us against ourselves. They think there's only one spot for a woman, and it's like that one woman gets it. It's like, damn it, now I can't be friends with her because now we're in competition.
No, man, I wish. I think I started really changing my mentality. I think when Instagram first started coming out, I had like a thing where I would watch people's things and be like, shit, why didn't I do that? And I had to like tell myself to stop. And then like,
because it wasn't for you.
It doesn't help anything.
No.
And then it's just, my mentality has totally changed over the last 5 years, especially just where I'm like, you know what? There's room for everybody and fuck it, man. I love seeing good people succeed.
Same.
I don't care if it's ever me, I mean, I do, but,
but I mean, of course I do. That's ridiculous.
Everybody's got their time and their place, and it's fucking it's awesome. So anyway, I like you, and I'm glad that you're killing the game.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had to take a drink of water.
I know it's sweatbox in here.
So what would be like because we haven't talked about this, and I always like to get this story from everybody. Like, what got you into comedy in the first place?
Yeah.
What was the moment?
I don't know if it was actually a moment that got me into comedy. Well, actually, I mean, if we're looking, it wasn't really like an epiphany that I had, but it was more of a friend that just happened. It was a mutual friend who got me into stand-up comedy.
Okay.
I moved out here from Cincinnati, Ohio, knowing that I wanted to be in entertainment. I knew that I wanted to act, and I knew that I wanted to write for television, like sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I was funny. That's the one thing I had been able to do like my entire life without even trying. Like from when I was just a kid, I was making people laugh. I got offered my first stand-up gig when I was 8 years old.
What?
Yeah, we were living in New York, in Queens at the time, and we had gone out to dinner for my mom's birthday. And we went to this Italian restaurant called Via Baruia, which is still to this day, my parents go there. They now are friends with the owners and everything. So they go back whenever they go back to New York. And we were in the dining room, just eating. And I was telling jokes, and I don't remember what the jokes were about. All I know is that the room was cracking up. So much that the owner came out and was like, do you want to work here on Sundays?
Stop.
Doing stand-up.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I was 8, and my parents, of course, were like, no, she's a child. That's ridiculous. And so I always did become like, I was that person that used, jokes as a defense mechanism, like growing up. Because I didn't feel like I fit in a lot of ways because of the way that I looked. Like I'm a black chick who doesn't look black, and I felt like I never fit in anywhere. So like my defense mechanism was like, oh, I can make everybody laugh. That's the one thing I can do, and it's the one thing I feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
And, getting attention that way instead of the negative way that I perceived everyone looking at me. So when I went to college, I went to college in Oxford, Ohio, Miami University. And then probably 6 months before I graduated, I was like, I don't think I want to do this, because I was studying dietetics and nutrition and health.
Oh.
And what I'm very passionate about. I'm a very healthy person. But at the time I was like, I'm going to have to work in a hospital for a year, an unpaid internship. And I was like, I'm too goofy. Like, I don't need to have people's lives in my hands. Like, I'm such a silly person. So I was like, I'd be in there making inappropriate.
Yeah, I couldn't picture you in that environment.
Yeah, no. Inappropriate jokes about diabetics getting their legs cut off. And like, I'd be like, that's so funny. Right? And I was like, no, my leg just got cut off. My bad. So like, that would be me in the hospital. So I was like, this is not a good move. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to take a leap of faith, because I've always been a spiritual person. I've always been. That's one thing I've always known about myself, was that I've always felt like I've had faith in God and that in the universe and just knowing that I was always going to be taken care of. I've always felt that way. So I was like, you know what? I don't know anybody in LA, but I feel like that's where I need to be right now. And I'm going to try and pursue something in entertainment. I can make people laugh. It's the only thing I can do, like without even thinking about it. I can make people laugh. And so I was like, that wasn't a mistake. I feel like that was a God-given talent. So I was like, let me try and parlay this into a career. Yeah. So I moved out here and didn't know anybody. Met some people like very easily. Like I was just working a regular job. And then probably 2 years, going on 2 years after I moved out here, a friend of mine from back home in Cincinnati came out to visit. And he was like, I have a friend who is moving out to LA who does stand-up comedy on the East Coast. And he's moving out here and I'm going to put you two in contact. And I was like, bet, let's do it. He gave me the dude's phone number. He gave the dude my phone number. And then within like a month or so, the dude had been moved. He was in the process of moving out here. And he texts me. He goes, I'm looking for an apartment right now. What are you doing? You want to meet for lunch? And I was like, sure. Where are you? And I was like, I'm on this street. And he goes, oh, he said, I'm on this street. And I said, dude, you're 2 blocks away from me. Like I had never met this person. We had just been introduced by phone numbers through a mutual friend. And then he gets here and he's 2 blocks away from where I am. I'm like, talk about like the universe. Totally. So I was like, this is crazy. We start hanging out. He was like, you're funny. Come do some open mics with me. Takes me to do I did a Bliss Cafe. I don't know if you'd ever done Bliss Cafe on Vine. Oh my God. That was the first place I ever gotten up. A shitty cafe. 6 people in there watching, probably all comics. I don't even know at the time. But I just remember not bombing. And I remember being comfortable on stage because I kind of grew up like on stage, singing, dancing, and whatever, theater stuff. So I always felt comfortable on stage. Yeah. And I remember not sucking. And I was like, I think I can do this. I did like an Aaron Neville impression. That was my first thing like I did on stage. Amazing. I want to be able to see old Candice like so hard. I would love to see that as well. So I can burn the footage. Yeah, so that was my first introduction. And I was like, oh, I think I can maybe do this. And I just like started meeting comedy friends. And my friend who introduced me his name is Dewan Owens. He doesn't really do stand-up anymore, but he is an actor and he's doing very well with acting. Yeah, so he's pretty successful and we're still really good friends. But yeah. And didn't you get into it? You were in some sort of thing with Kevin Hart back in the day at Laugh Factory, right? Yes. There was a sketch group with me, Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Chris Spencer, like Rodney Perry, my friend Dewan. He's the one that took me there. So he's the one that kind of like was like, Candice, let me bring you into the comedy world. And he didn't know, he just moved out here. So he didn't know what he was doing. He was just like, I hear there's a sketch group over the Laugh Factory. And nobody knew that those people were going to blow the fuck up. No one had any idea. Like I joined that sketch group. We were called the Comedy Playground. And it was a mix of like improv and sketch. And I thought it was a brilliant idea at the time. So what we would do is we would just show up there. And then the guy who ran it, Pookie, do you know Pookie at the Laugh Factory? Yeah. Pookie Wigginton. And so we would pitch our idea to Pookie for a sketch, and he would shoot it down or give it a thumbs up. And if he liked it, he would make us then perform it on stage live with like no rehearsal. So like the only rehearsal we had was like after we pitched it, he'd be like, that's good, work on it. And we go rehearse for maybe 10 minutes, and then we take it to the stage in front of a crowd, which I thought was like brilliant. So fun. And it was so, yeah, like the ones that hit, oh my God. Not all of them hit. Obviously, some of them were disasters. But at the same time, it was such a great group, great energy. And when I joined, Kevin was like just on the cusp of on his way out. Like, so I remember his attendance at the sketch group would start dwindling. Yeah. Like every week you were like, is Kevin coming today? And we're like, I don't know. Because he was the star of the show. Yeah. Like, he's so funny. So it was just like, we knew it was like we were coming to an end when it's like, yeah, we haven't seen Kevin in like 2 months. I don't think he's coming back to the Comedy Playground. But how cool to be a part of, like, that's such a legacy moment for you. It's insane. It was literally all the pieces falling in place. And that was my first, I was in that group before I was even doing stand-up. So like I went to that group and that was my first experience in the comedy world, was working with Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. So fucking cool. It's insane. Yeah. How long have you been in LA now? I've been in LA, it'll be 14 years next month. Damn, girl, you're double me. It'll be 14 years next month. 14. Yeah. So you're pretty much a Los Angelite. I am. An Angelino. Yeah. I don't think it matters. I just say whatever sometimes I make up words and I don't even acknowledge it and people just agree with me. I was going to say, don't admit that you were wrong because no one will know if you made up a word. I make up words all the time. Me too. I've said insimigate to 3 people now and they have no idea what, it's not a word. Tell me what context you're using it in. Oh, like, this is so intimidating, this experience right now. And people will be like, you're right, it is intimidating. I'm like, that is not a word. Yep. You can make up words and we have made up words in the dictionary. There are words now that didn't exist before that are in there.
Yeah, selfie is now in the dictionary.
Exactly.
Which is horrifying.
We make up words all the time.
Absolutely.
So stick with it. Don't. Angelinite, that's what it's called.
Angelite. Yeah.
Angelite, that's what you said.
That's Angelite.
And so is Angelinite now. See, that's a word too.
Yeah, all the words are words. If you say it, it's a word.
It's a word.
It comes out of your mouth, it's absolutely a word.
Absolutely. So stupid, but true.
Absolutely.
But true.
Who were your role models like originally when you got out here? Did you have some people in the comedy world that you were like, that's what I want?
I mean, absolutely. Chappelle, number one.
Yes, of course.
Fell in love with Chappelle with his first special. Like, I loved Half Baked, but I loved his stand-up. Like, his Killing 'Em Softly was like, made me be like, oh my God. Like, I didn't even at that time, I was like, I didn't know I wanted to do stand-up, but I knew that it made me laugh so hard that was a world that I needed to like be a part of somehow. I didn't know if it was a stand-up thing or if just, being in LA or writing for television, but I was like, I just wanted to laugh all the time. And even Sinbad, growing up like in the 90s, watching his specials, he had one in Aruba. And I just remember me and my dad just cracking up about it. And I was just like, there's something about this. I wanted to be in this world.
Sinbad's ability to improvise is fucking nuts.
Yeah, and he does all clean too. He doesn't curse or anything.
When I first moved here, I saw him at the Comedy Store in the main room, and
I've never seen him live.
He did only crowd work. And I'm not talking crowd where like he didn't have material.
Yeah.
But he was starting to do material and somebody said something and he just made this story out of the entire audience and had everybody rolling. And I remember laughing so hard that I just couldn't fucking believe his ability to do that. Like,
he's a master. Yeah.
It was insane. And I still, was it the movie Blank Check? Was he in Blank Check or was it First?
He was in
First Kid. That's what it was. First Kid.
I didn't see either one of those.
They were basically out around the same time.
Yeah.
I think it was First Kid, where he like pretends to be like this secret agent or whatever, and like gets caught gets stuck working for the president's kid or whatever. But like he says something to the kid at one point where he was like, You're going to do this and your parents are going to chew your butt off. They're going to chew it off so far you're just going to slide right off onto the floor. You're just going to slide off onto the floor because you're going to have no butt left. And it was just like one of those moments where I was like, he fucking improvised that so hard and it's so funny.
And it's so funny. He's so silly. And I think that's part of like what I loved about him was the goofy nature of what he did. Because I'm definitely like more a cerebral comic. Like when I do my stand-up, it is like a lot of not act outy type physical comedy at all, but like I am a goofy person just like in life. But when I get up on stage, I'm kind of like a more cerebral person, but I really appreciated his goofiness. Like I love silly. I love simple. Like Gary Shandling, he was another one that was a huge that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, these are good ones.
Yeah. Like I was like, oh, I love all, and Seinfeld, of course. Like Seinfeld. And unfortunately, I'm trying to think if there's any women that I really stand-up wise at the time was really, because right now, like my top are like, I love Kathleen Madigan so much.
She's one of my favorites too. Because she storytells. And that's my thing where if I could ever storytell the way she does, or, then I'd be like, okay, I've got this shit on lock.
Right. Yeah, she's brilliant.
So fluid.
She's brilliant. And also Wanda Sykes. I loved seeing her like on the Chris Rock show. Like I loved, her stand-up specials, her older ones like are so funny. So like, yeah. But so those were, I would say, probably my biggest influences were those people and kind of what I wanted to like emulate when I came out here.
Yeah. Did you have any moments like when you were coming up where you were like, fuck, I suck and I'm not ever going to be a role model?
Yeah.
Because I had so many of those.
Yeah. Like, you mean like growing up, like when I, like before moving
out to LA. Because I remember having so many moments where I was just like, God, there's no way I'm going to become anything.
Like I think I felt that way most of my life. Like I honestly did. I feel like because I was very insecure and shy. Mm-hmm. Like you would never believe that now. Like you do stand up, how are you shy? But when I was a kid, my like sister would be like, Candice, go ask that lady what time it is, like for a movie, like the person working in the booth. And I'd be like, I can't do that. Like that's how shy I was. I can't do that. Yeah. Like I remember one time I peed on myself in class. Like I was a mess a lot. I peed on myself when I was like in elementary school because I was too shy to like ask to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's adorably sad.
It's sad. I was a hot mess at some point. I didn't know how to do my hair, because I got like weird, like multiracial hair that I didn't know how to control until probably I was 25. It was a poof of tumbleweed until I could put. I was scared to
I
death.
bet you were
of putting
cute.
heat.
You probably look like a little
No.
like the trill
No.
dolls where you just shake their head and it just poofs up. Did you
No.
have hair like
I did have hair like that, but it was not cute. I will show you a picture, and because I posted on my Instagram before, I posted like a side by side of me when I was like 12 and Chelsea Clinton when she was like 13, 14ish, and we had we both had braces with these Gary Shandling lips. And my poofy hair that looked like tumbleweed. We both look similar in our struggles of not growing into yourself.
Yeah.
And I posted that. I'm going to show you. You're going to be like, Candice, and so many people have seen that picture. Like Kyle Irby, a very funny comic, he wrote underneath my caption, "Oh, now I see why you're funny." Because he's like, "Oh, you had an ugly phase." I'm like, I of course I had an ugly phase. Like, I think most of us do.
Was that back when you were called the thickness?
Oh, that was before. That was pre-thickness. I was called thickness in high school, and because I didn't know, and that is what made me want to study.
Name.
Thank you. That's what made me get into studying the dietetics and health when I was in college, because I didn't know how to eat properly. Because I grew up in that era where it's like low fat is bad. They were like, everything low fat, no.
Yeah.
So the Snackwells came around and all these other low fat options. So I was thinking, oh, fat is bad for you. I won't eat anything that has fat. So I was eating like bags of pretzels, like Schneider Hanover bags, like full on, thinking, oh, this is
healthy.
No fat. It's all bread. And I'm like, why am I gaining weight? So like I didn't know. And I was giving up stuff like cheese, and I had already given up meat. So I wasn't eating stuff that was high fat. But I was like, why am I gaining weight? And it was because I didn't know how to eat properly. So I was like, I want to learn how to do this and teach other people. So that's why I went to school for that. And I'm still very passionate about it.
I remember when those Wow chips came out.
The Olestra.
The Olestra.
The mud butt.
Making people shit themselves.
The mud butt potato chips. Yeah. I remember those.
Our teacher, because I was in 5th grade when those came out, and we had a really hot teacher. I just remember her being super hot. Miss Purrington. Oh my God.
Purrington?
She looked like a little Paula Abdul.
Purrington?
Yeah.
Like a cat?
Yeah, Purrington.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I'm sure at some point people gave her like cougar nicknames and stuff.
Oh.
Like she was, I just remember her being really hot, and she was eating Wow chips, and then I heard stories about the Wow chips. I remember going up to her at her desk and being like, "I think those are bad for your poops."
What did she
was
say?
like, "I heard that too.
And she's
Thank
still
you for
eating.
letting me know."
Mind you, she's still eating them.
Exactly.
She didn't care.
She did not care at all.
Hilarious.
Did you party a lot in high school or college?
I did not. Oh, I was such a square.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, I didn't know that
I didn't
about
start.
you.
I'm such a
That's
such a square.
so funny.
I just now started like drinking in my probably 30s.
Really?
Yeah. Like, and it's not that I had never had a drink before. I just never. I was
Never
not a
really got
partier.
into it.
No, I'd had liquor or like wine and stuff when I was like in high school. I had tasted it, but I'd never gotten like fucked up or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'd had like a glass of wine. Like, okay, that's what else? we
Yeah.
got? And then in college, I got messed up one time so badly because I found out like my boyfriend was breaking up with me. And it was somebody that I really loved. And I was like, this is the first time I think I'd like been in love before. And then he just started like ghosting on me. I know we didn't have that
that's
term
painful.
back then, but he ghosted on me and started dating some other chick like right in front of my face. And so I went home after my class, middle of the day, and just got shit-faced because my roommate at the
Got
time...
a box of Franzia.
It wasn't a box, but my roommate was this Italian chick who went hard. Like she had like 4 or 5 different bottles of liquor, and I finished like all of them.
Oh shit!
I didn't know anything about liquor. I finished all of them, and then next thing you know, I'm vomiting in the middle of the day. My friends have to change my clothes.
Oh
and,
my
yeah,
God.
it was a mess.
I have been there.
We all have.
I've been there.
We've all been there, and it's like one of those things. Like, why do people still do this? Because I know people that still get shit faced, and I'm like, you're in your 30s now. You are gonna feel this in the morning.
I do it better now. Like I'd still like to drink like a lot, but like I somehow my friend was taking videos of me 2 Saturdays ago.
Oh,
God,
God.
Can somebody make a filter you can put on your own Instagram where you can't share stories anymore after your thumbprint reads at a certain alcohol level? Because I'm such an open book. Like I don't care if people see me drunk. And but you can tell when I'm really drunk because my eyes just point nowhere. And so me and my friends had been like, I think this was 2 or 3 Saturdays ago. One of my friends is like in kind of the liquor rep world.
Oh, yeah.
Or like he's friends with all the liquor reps.
Okay.
Not just like the people that go around trying to sell wine, but it's the people that are like, I have $10,000 every day that I have to spend on this account.
Yeah.
And they like buy shit for
Fantastic,
you.
yeah.
Those are the greatest people to know.
I have a friend that was doing that too for
Oh
me.
my God, it's amazing. So we had a Casadores one at 2 different pool parties.
Nice.
So we got hammered on tequila, and then I kept myself out for 14 hours. So I was just drunk.
For 14
in public
hours?
For 14 hours. My friend was filming me, and the videos I have are the fucking funniest thing ever. Because I was like, how did you guys keep me out
Hilarious.
amongst humans for so long?
If anybody gets a hold of those, they could blackmail you.
Oh my God. But it wouldn't be. Again, I would easily just share them.
It's fine. I'm going to create a website after my Willem Dafoe website. I'm going to have my drunk website.
I remember it being to such a point in college where I had gotten my tonsils out at one point, and they'd given us like they give you like not liquid morphine, but codeine or something that you can drink. And I saved it. I didn't take it after my surgery. I saved it because I knew I was going to be broke enough to need it one day. And I like drank that with a glass of Jack Daniels.
Dear God.
One night when I didn't have enough money to go out in college, and like my legs didn't work. And after those moments, you're like, okay, I have to learn how to do liquor properly if it's going to become a part of my life.
We need to start working on this relationship between you and me, because if we have a future together.
Exactly.
I need to know how to handle one
I can't
another.
believe you were a square. That's so funny.
Oh.
What did you do for fun?
I didn't really do anything for fun besides like drawing. I used to draw a lot. I almost went to art school. Like I wanted to get into be like a cartoonist at one point. So I did draw. I used to sing. Like I'd be in my room just singing a lot. Like I was I was kind of nerdy. Like I didn't party much at all. I didn't do any type of, like I'd smoked weed a little bit in college, but not much of anything. I just remember my friends giving me weed sometimes because I was so funny. They were like, just have this, get high. Candice high is hilarious.
Entertain us.
Yeah. Shrooms. I didn't try shrooms till I was in my 30s.
Oh man, I still haven't done those.
Oh yeah, no, they're amazing. And those are only 2 drugs that I have tried so far, just weed and shrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nature drugs.
The natural one.
Yeah.
God wanted us to experience this.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not scared to try shrooms, but I want it to be like a special event. Like I feel like I need it to be like videotaped or something.
Yes.
And I want to do it in Joshua Tree.
That's the place you should. I still haven't done it there, but everyone says it's the first place. They
I
either
haven't
say
been to
there or
Joshua
they say
Tree.
like the Getty Center.
Really?
Yeah, because all the artwork and the colors.
Oh,
are like,
I'm
it's
sure.
Really, and
I didn't
they've
even
got like
think about
botanical
that.
gardens over there too. Yeah.
Do you have you enjoyed traveling a lot lately for shows because you're going to bigger cities?
I mean, yes, that part is always fun for me.
Some people don't like it.
No, I just don't want to have to, I don't want to live out of a suitcase. I don't want to be one of those things where I'm like on the road like every week because that's exhausting and it's lonely. And also as women, it's not safe.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't think about that. But it's like when dudes go on the road, the part of the excitement of being on the road is like, oh, I'm going to have all these strange women hitting on me after shows, all my groupies or whatever. I get to have random sex with people. And I'm like, if we do that, we could die.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not the same for us.
It's totally creepy.
Yeah. So women, I don't think in general, especially, I don't know if it's different for you, but I know dudes don't hit on me after shows. I do not get hit on by men
I never have
all.
either. I had
don't
one
like
guy,
it.
one really overweight guy let me like jiggle his boobs once.
Okay.
And that was it. That's all I've gotten after a show. Like I got to jiggle a man's boobs. And that was in Vegas. You can do that a lot in Vegas for free, for women, for men. I mean, you can.
A dime a dozen,
so
sir.
Unspecial.
He's so basic.
What would be like the weirdest? Have you had some weird moments in stand-up over the last 11 years? Like,
I'm sure I have.
I don't really have a ton of stories about that either. I think I've only had one situation in actual stand-up community where I was like, ugh. But over the most part, I feel like it's pretty chill.
Yeah, no, I've never had it. I do remember getting heckled one time at the Silver Lake Lounge. I was doing an open mic. And these 2 Mexican dudes were being really like rowdy at the bar and they were heckling everybody and nobody was addressing it.
Yeah.
Until me. Because I was like, I have to say something because they're going to continue this behavior. So I just made a joke. What did I even say? Oh, because Silver Lake Lounge is is a gay bar. I don't know. A lot of people know that. But
yeah,
it's in,
I didn't know that.
It's in Silver Lake and hence the name Silver Lake Lounge. But Candice, you're so stupid.
It's in Compton.
Right. It's in Compton.
Nobody gets it.
It's ironic. And so we go, we're doing this. And we did take a moment to laugh at our own jokes. Time out, guys. Natasha and I have to laugh at our own brilliance. Hold on a second. So stupid. And yeah, I forget what they were saying, but then like I just called them like, I think I said they were Cheech and Chong, but the gay edition. And I said a couple of things about them. And then one of them was like, you think you funny, but you ain't funny. You think you skinny, but you fat. And I was like, no one said any of these things. I don't know what you're talking about. And then another one, like almost came towards the stage like he was about to do something to me. And what's so funny is that, and this is the perfect way to describe what's happening to men. None of the men reacted. None of the men in that bar saw this man who could have hurt me coming to the stage. None of the men did anything. None of them reacted. My friend Brenda had a beer bottle in her hand ready to fight this dude.
Oh,
she
Brenda
saw him.
Kalana?
Yep.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. She came to stand by the stage because she saw this dude coming at me. Mm-hmm. And Emily Amaya Mills, another fantastic human being, went up and tried to talk to the guys to like settle them down because it was getting rowdy.
Yeah.
But all of the male comics in that place were just like cowering, like, oh, I'm not going to do anything.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Because the only balls a lot of male comics have is in their brain.
Yes. Yeah. Not where
they're smart and they're funny,
right.
But it's like when it comes to macho shit, it's just not their jam.
Doesn't exist. And I feel like also, but it's not just comedians anymore. I feel like just in general, like masculine men are going away. Mm-hmm. They're just fading.
I think balls are actually getting smaller.
They probably are.
Literally getting smaller.
Yeah, they are. On men, on women, they're getting bigger.
Exactly. I have huge balls.
Yeah, mine. I was just cleaning mine earlier today, and I was like, look how giant these balls are. I should probably take an Instagram, a ballsy.
Have you noticed in the last, when was it that you did late night? It was like...
That was over a year ago.
Over a year ago. That's what I thought. It was about a year and a half
February,
ago.
End of January of last year, 2017.
So talk about the last year and a half, like the trajectory of that, because like I said, I know it's been amazing, but like what has that changed for you? Because there's I'm involved with the Big Sky Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
And this will be the second year that I'm a producer on that. And I'm trying to bring this girl, Jessica, in to do a talk about getting comics ready for late night, because she does an amazing thing about, she does like a panel or a workshop.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then we want to have one there because I feel like a lot of comics don't understand. A lot of comics listen to these podcasts too. And, I think people don't understand like what prepping for that moment is and what it does for you when it actually happens.
Right. Well, I will say it was a pleasant surprise when I got the phone call. My manager was like, Candice, you're going to be doing the Tonight Show next week. Yeah. And I was like, what? So I had literally like 6 days to prep for this.
Yeah.
And what I will say, you have to if late night is a goal of yours, because I know some stand-ups don't want to be on late night. Some people are not, their nature of their stand-up is not geared towards that because of the type of material they talk about. Sometimes it's too dirty. Late night is so like super clean.
And there's a cadence that you kind of have to like hit.
You have to be a jokey. Some people are storytellers, which is a harder format if that's what you do you only have 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So you got to figure out either a story that you can tell that has that many laughs in it throughout 5 minutes, or break yours up into find maybe 2 short story type form. But even so, that's difficult. Still very difficult to do. Right.
Yeah.
So luckily, like the booker for the Tonight Show, Michael Cox, he was the one that was like, let's put Candice on. And so luckily for me, he had already seen my set, but just whittled down for late night because of the set that he had seen originally was too long for late night. So he had seen me from the NBC showcase and was like, oh, as a booker, he's looking at this and he's probably thinking this would be a good late night set. So like, luckily going in, I already knew like he took care of that part. Like I didn't even have to figure out what my set was going to be because he was like, these 8 minutes that you did for this, let's figure out what we can take the 5 minutes from this and whittle it down, or the 8 minutes and whittle it down to 5.
Yeah.
So his hand was in it from like the beginning and just being like, okay, I know all the stuff should be okay. So then you have to run it through standards and practices at the network, because you could think something is passed and they're like, no, you can't say this, can't say this. They chop your shit up.
Really?
Oh.
They
They chop your shit up.
how much that was done.
Oh yeah, I had a joke where I say Armenian. They made me take out the word Armenian. Yeah, it's stuff like that. Like it's just a race of people. Why can't I say this? And they were just like, nah. So, but it's very bizarre. You have to be super clean. But yeah, and it was just running it have your tight 5 and run it as much as you possibly can before your actual performance. Like when I was with Cox that week before, we were running it at least 6 times a night. We were getting me 5 different spots at different places throughout LA, running it so that I was like a robot. By the end, I hated those jokes. I was like, I don't know if I can do this on TV now. I don't believe in any of them anymore. Like I was so tired of it.
Yeah.
And so, so we ran it to death. And then, but by the time you run it so much, it is like you could do it in your sleep. So by the time you get up in front of the crowd, you're not going to mess up.
Yeah.
If you do what you're supposed to be doing beforehand. Also, like, I just played it like it was a club. I know some people get thrown off by the cameras, but everyone was like, weren't you so nervous by the time you got up? And I was like, you know what? I ignored the cameras when it just looked like a club to me.
Yeah.
And so, and I meditate. I meditated right before, which also helps me with anxiety and getting into the zone and just being present and just being like, appreciate this moment that's happening right now and just go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big thing that I've gotten into is just like chilling out before I do. Cause like a lot of, I don't know. It depends on the show, but a lot of people want to like chat with you or hang out before shows, which
like,
normally it's fine.
If it's like, right, a regular show.
If you have a big show, sometimes it's nice to just like,
I need to be by myself right now
chill.
and get my mind right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So what was the year and a half like following that?
After that,
get into what you're up to, just like leading up to what you're up to now.
Like after that, it's just been kind of it's it's not life changing like it used to be, And when you do a late night set now, it's not like back in the 90s or 80s when you get to sit down with the host of the talk show, and then next thing you know, you have 5 sitcom deals the next day. Like that doesn't exist anymore. It's so saturated with comedy and stand up in general. So like it wasn't that, obviously. I didn't walk off stage and there was 5 executives. Candice, we have a sitcom idea for you.
Yeah. Although that would have been great.
Yeah. Thank you. We got one for you. A little baby grows up in a white family thinking she's white and then finds out at 30 she's black. Which is actually a sitcom I have for myself. But that would have been fantastic if they had done that.
Yeah.
But since then, so no, definitely a lot more respect happened immediately. It's like you get back to LA and it's like, what used to happen is I would leave town to do shows in another city or just go on vacation or be with my family. And I would come back and it's like, people forget about you. Just like in that week or 2 weeks that you're gone.
I know.
It's like,
I'm crazy.
Sorry, I don't know who you are anymore. It's like, I was gone for a week.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not the case. When I came back from LA, it's like, I came back from New York. It was like, I did get, obviously, that's when I stopped having to reach out to people to book shows.
Yeah.
That's when I would have Facebook messages. Hey, Candice, are you around this time? And like that just started happening, which before, like I got that a little bit, but I didn't get it. I still had to reach out to people like, hey, do you have a spot on the show? Do you have like 10 minutes for me, whatever? So that stopped happening completely. Like I haven't had to like do that at all, reach out to anybody. Thank God for that.
It was a great time saver.
It was. It was. And I was like, I don't have to be on Facebook that much anymore. This is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But I also, I wouldn't say anything amazing. Like it's just kind of been like slow and steady. Like nothing happened like so like tangible, like by when I got back from that it just like was like, oh, and then this happened, like nothing. It's still been like a steady.
People don't realize
climb.
that just like the entire trajectory of somebody's career is slow and steady, and that's why nothing ever seems like that big of a deal when it happens.
Right. It's like I've been working for this because
we're not 18 and we didn't just roll out here and happen to get an agent and happen to get onto a teeny bopper show.
That's very true.
Like it's such a slow. Like I remember when I still lived in Chicago and I was like, all I want to do is like a spot on TV. And then like 4 years ago, I got my first one on TV. And then I was like, well, that wasn't even that cool. And then I was like, well, now what?
Same.
And
but
like
people think you're famous after that. They're like,
which is hysterical.
You're a celebrity now. And I'm like,
especially back home. Like, I'm so honest about that. I mean, like being a hometown, whatever is fine. But like people back, like some people back home will think that I have like $1 million. No,
I know.
And I'm like, no.
Like, what are you talking about? This was non-union.
I'm like, I'm doing okay, but I'm not.
I do this for the IMDb credit.
Yeah. Seriously, so many things.
I paid out of pocket to do this. Yeah. This is a student
film.
All the
fucking time. All the time.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what people back home thought after I did The Tonight Show, because that was like it. Back they just like, oh, The Tonight Show, Candice must be happy. Yeah, no. Yeah. That's not the case at all. I'm still in these streets grinding every day.
Every day. That's just what it is.
So, yeah. Yeah, again, nothing happened like amazing, but again, really good stuff starting to happen like this year.
Yeah.
this year. Like last year was kind of like, oh, I did the Tonight Show, but there's so many late night sets that are out there. That's why it's like, it's like every week there's new comics out there. So it's, right. So,
well, and now there's all the YouTube stuff, and like there's just so many funny people with different, you know. And I was just talking about that with somebody the other day because, you know, granted, it's a different type of respect that people have if they're like big on YouTube and big on Instagram, and then they try to get into stand up. Like it's not, people from the stand up community don't look at that the same way.
Yeah, no.
But it's true that somebody that has, you know, 2 million followers on Instagram will get booked at Caroline's to do
they will.
set because they can fill out
they can put asses in seats, but they can't. They won't have those people come back and see them live again, right? Because they're not doing well. Like I think because again, it's a muscle. It's a different muscle. What are we like? You can do a lot of things in front of a camera when you have an editing at your disposal. But when you're up there and you have nothing to rely on, you're just you. That's a completely different skill. And to think that they translate like that is insane.
Exactly.
But so they know what they're getting into. They just want the money though. Yeah. They'll be fine.
Well, what are you most excited about coming up? Like, is it more so the fact that you're putting together these series that you're pitching and... Because that's what I'm
that would be, that was like, you know, I said when I moved out here, that's what I wanted to do was like write for television and act. And so, I'm not going to stop until I get those things. Like I want to have my own production company. And so I want the sitcom to go and then also my web series too. So like absolutely. Those are the things I'm most excited about right now. Yeah,
for sure. I'm in the same position because I just think it's smart to make your own stuff. If you have a voice that you have your own story.
It's not even smart. Like you have to now to even compete.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has their own story. So find your unique thing and make that known because otherwise, what the fuck are we doing out here? Just waiting for roles to come around.
It's so true. And I've always thought about that with like people who just act. And I'm like, unless you're doing your own stuff and you're just out here just like acting and waiting on casting people to just hopefully or luckily put you in something like that. I just couldn't imagine living a life like that. You have to take some kind of control nowadays. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I know that this is coming out after JFL, but have you done JFL before?
This will be my first time.
This will be your first time. That's going to be fucking fun.
It's going to be, I can't wait. I just know it's going to be hot too.
Dude. Yep.
And humid.
Are you staying at the Hyatt Regency?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't know if you can tell people where. Oh no, it's already gonna be over. So
this address here, they're gonna.
That's like the shittiest thing you can do is like, what exact room number are you gonna be staying?
What room is Candice gonna be in?
But this is coming out after JFL, so we are safe. So she's not gonna be there anymore.
Room 36B.
Yeah. But I'm gonna be staying like 2 blocks away.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
Yeah. So next time everybody hears from us, me and Candice are gonna have a slew of drunken stories.
I'm saying we might not come back.
I'm gonna make you drink box wine with me just because I gotta see what Candice is like on boxed wine.
Probably very similar to what I'm doing right now because I took an edible.
Oh, perfect.
I was like, this may have been a bad idea.
We were just talking about edibles the other day because I just now started finding the right dosage of an edible that I can handle.
I still don't know. I just randomly, I'll pop and then be like, okay, we'll see what happens. Good luck.
I like the little blueberry ones that come in a little tin, like the little Altoid tin looking thing.
Are they just blueberries?
They're like chocolate covered blueberries.
Oh, I haven't had those.
And then they have chocolate covered coffee beans. And like those are the perfect size.
Yeah, you can just take one of those and you'll be good.
Yeah. Because, you know, some of that other shit, you eat the goldfish crackers are the meanest thing you could possibly make into an edible.
I took 4 of those one time and it did nothing.
Yeah, because the goldfish are also hungry a little bit. So like 30 minutes will go by and you're like, I have all these goldfish here. I should eat some more. And then you eat like half a bag and then you're just fucked.
Okay, so I didn't eat enough. I literally only had like 4 because I was paranoid.
Half a bag is too much. Let me just tell you that.
Oh, okay. So they must be in.
There's somewhere in the middle.
There's somewhere in between. Take like 12 goldfish. You should be fine.
All right, Candice. Well, where can people find you on Instagram and Twitter and all that jazz?
Yes, they can find me on social media at Jokes by Candice, and that's Candice, not A. I know that people favor the ACE.
Yeah.
It's not how I spell my name.
Don't call her Candy either.
Don't. Did you watch my Instagram?
No, I didn't know that, but I just know.
You do know. It makes me sound stupid. So don't call me that. And CandiceThompsonComedy.com for my tour dates and stuff like that.
Do you have anything big coming
struggle
up in August?
Podcast. Nothing huge besides, I'm going to High Plains Festival in Denver, Colorado. So I'll be there if you're any Denver people. Yeah.
I heard that's really fun. When is that happening?
It's the end, so don't quote me, but it's around like the 23rd-ish, 23rd to like 25th, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be fun. Denver's an amazing scene. I've heard nothing but great things about that scene. I've never played there.
Me neither. It'll be my first time playing there, and it'll be my first time ever. Like, I've been there once before, but when I was like 21, and I did like white water rafting. But this will be my first time like going for stand up. So yeah.
Does your voice sound different in high altitude? Do you know if you have to like
don't know. I don't know.
I always wondered that if I would have like a different sounding voice if I performed in Denver.
Mine would just get deeper.
And
where my Scorpio's at.
Exactly. Oh, you're a Scorpio.
No, I'm Aries, actually.
Oh, okay. I was like, we could be getting married. My fiance's a Scorpio.
Hilarious.
Cool. We vibe well. And you can find me at NPH Comedy on Instagram and Twitter. You can find the podcast at Future Role Model on Instagram and Role Model Pod on Twitter. If anybody still uses Twitter, we're not sure. You can find the network at Comedy Pop-Up or CPU Podcasts. And I will see you next Tuesday. We are done.